Hello and welcome to this week's news bulletin from the Christian Institute. The Christian owner of a graphic design firm in Northern Ireland who's facing possible legal action from a gay magazine has been speaking about his experience exclusively to the Christian Institute. Nick Williamson, who owns Blue Fire Media in Portadown, had been contacted by the editor of My Gay Zine, Danny Toner, to quote for a print publication of their online magazine. But Mr. Williamson replied saying that accepting the job would be in contradiction to his faith due to the explicit nature of some of the images. Mr. Toner says he was shocked and annoyed at the response and has threatened to take Mr. Williamson to court. But Mr. Williamson said that as a Christian, he wouldn't feel comfortable printing any sexually explicit material.
I would not feel comfortable printing any material, whether it is homosexual or heterosexual, if they were explicit images. My sole and my only reason for turning down this work was to do with the content, not the person. To print something like that, to be involved, even in printing, I feel would have went against my faith and what the Bible teaches, and that I believe is very clear on.
And if you would like to watch the full interview with Nick Williamson, visit our website at christian.org.uk. A pro-family group in New Zealand has been told that it will lose its charitable status because it campaigns in support of traditional marriage. The country has recently legalised gay marriage, and now officials have told the charity Family First New Zealand that it will be deregistered. The regulator says the group's beliefs about marriage are political because they do not have a public benefit. But Bob McCoskrie, National Director of Family First, says the move is grim evidence that groups that think differently to the prevailing politically correct view will be targeted in an attempt to shut them up. He added, "You know a country is in trouble when a family group speaking up, publishing research and holding conferences on traditional family values is deemed to be of no public benefit." Meanwhile, in the UK, the bill to redefine marriage is set to return to the Commons for 2 days of debate, as MPs consider amendments to the controversial proposals. In February, MPs voted in favour of the same-sex couples bill, but more Conservative MPs voted against it than for it. The bill has now passed through committee stage and will come back to the House of Commons on Monday the 20th of May. A barrister is under investigation after publishing an article in which she recommends that the age of consent should be lowered to 13. Barbara Hewson also called for an end to the persecution of old men and the start of training girls not to get into compromising situations. She made the controversial remarks in online magazine Spiked in the wake of recent high-profile arrests over allegations of historic sexual offences. Barbara Hewson also suggested complainants should no longer receive anonymity. She is now facing an internal investigation at Hardwick, the legal chambers where she works. In a statement, Hardwick said they were shocked at Barbara Hewson's remarks and disassociate themselves from the article. A Christian-run GP surgery has been criticised for posting a notice saying some of its doctors do not prescribe the morning after pill on grounds of conscience. The Link's medical practice in Mottingham, South London, has posted a message on its door saying that if a consenting doctor is not available, patients should contact a local clinic or chemist. But Audrey Simpson, Family Planning Association's chief executive, criticised the surgery, saying women have the right to access emergency contraception. However, Dr. Peter Saunders, head of the Christian Medical Fellowship, has defended the medical practice, saying just because patients can legally access the morning after pill does not mean every doctor has a duty to supply it. He added, and thankfully both the law and the GMC guidance currently allow for that. A new bid to weaken the law on assisted suicide is to be brought before the House of Lords. Lord Falconer will present his latest bill to peers next week, almost 4 years after his previous attempt met with defeat. The bill would allow doctors to give lethal drugs to patients who are believed to have less than 6 months to live. Meanwhile, Giles Fraser, a Church of England minister and Guardian columnist, has criticised what he sees as a slide towards euthanasia, commenting that people just don't want to end up a burden to others. These days, people say they want to die quickly, painlessly in their sleep and without becoming a burden. But Dr. Fraser refutes this, saying burdens should be shared among loved ones, adding, "It's called looking after each other." And finally, parents who were advised to abort their severely disabled baby because he was unlikely to survive have celebrated their son's first birthday. Shelly and Rob Wall had been told during Mrs Wall's 12-week scan that their child had multiple complications, including spina bifida, rare chromosomal abnormalities and fluid on the brain. The couple were offered an abortion but refused, wanting to give their baby a chance to live. Now Noah has learned to move his arms, smile, wave and say mama and dada. Noah has to make frequent hospital visits and needs to be massaged 5 times a day, along with regular physio and hydrotherapy sessions. Mrs Wall said, "We don't know how long he will live, but we won't put a time on him. We just enjoy every day and do as much as we can with him. By telling our story, we want to inspire others who are pregnant with disabled babies not to give up hope."
Happy birthday to you.
Well, that's all for this week. For more information and regular updates on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.